What's up guys, it's Matt here. Today I want to talk about console templates. Now, console templates can be a really controversial subject, so I want to clarify exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about a console template, I'm talking about the starting point that you use going into every session that you mix. I would say that pretty much all of us use a console template to some extent, whether we realize we are or not. Even if you just have an X32 and you're kicking on your console before Sunday morning and you're just running with whatever is on the console in the state that it was left. That in its own way is a console template. It's saving the state that you used last week and you're using it again this week. Now, I think there's a much more useful way to use console templates than the scenario that I just described, and we're going to jump into that in just a minute. But I want to talk about the other way that we refer to console templates. Console templates can also be something that you either are given or you purchase online from somebody that you trust, with processing and everything already baked in, that you can basically just plug all of your instruments into the console and run with their template. Now, if you go on Reddit or any sort of social media and start talking about console templates, you're going to get a lot of varying ideas about the way that console templates should be used. And today, I just want to talk through my personal opinion and the way that I think they can be beneficial and the way that I think that they can be harmful in your mixing strategy. Before I start, I do want to say this. I actually have an X32 console template on my website at transientavlsolutions.com. That X32 console template is completely free and it was created by me. If you're starting completely from scratch on an X32 and you have absolutely no idea what to do next, this is probably a really good idea to download that template and kind of get a feel for the decisions that I made based on the source material that I was using to create that mix. Now, this leads me into the first conversation that I want to have about console templates. So any template that you buy or receive from anybody online is going to need to have some work done to get it to work with your source material. Every band sounds different and has different equipment that they are using to create their sound. Not only that, every room sounds different. And even the most perfectly tuned PAs, you usually won't be able to completely avoid mixing the room in your channel processing. There are a lot of people that I think believe that the second that they purchase a console template from somebody that they trust, that their mix is just suddenly going to sound better. And for a lot of people, it probably will sound a lot better, but that doesn't mean that all of the choices that were made were the right choices in your context. I think it's really important, even if you do purchase somebody's console template, to go into it understanding that this is more of a learning thing for you than it is a fix-all solution to your problems. Personally, for me, I've purchased a number of console templates and I'm really happy with the product that they're selling. But I also went into it understanding that I was going to learn from that template and take what I could and put it into my own session. And I didn't approach it as a fix-all. If you think that you are going to go online and purchase somebody's template and put it on your console and then suddenly your mix is going to sound perfect, it's just not the case. There are a lot of things that go into making a mix good, and a lot of it is stuff that you don't even have control over as an audio engineer. So that's why I'm a believer that console templates are a great teaching tool, they're a great learning tool, but you really need to manage your expectations when you buy one. Now, we've talked about console templates in this context where you go online and you purchase one, or somebody gives you their console template like I am giving mine away for free. But now I want to talk about a really practical solution for those of you out there that struggle with consistency in your mixes week to week. Especially if you have a large volunteer team or even just have 2 or 3 volunteers that run audio on a regular basis, I think it's really important that you are always starting from the same starting point on your mixes. We have to remember that we're mixing for people that are there every single week. This isn't a concert. This isn't something where we're trying to entertain people. And there are lots of different schools of thought when it comes to this. Personally, I try to teach our guys to get out of the way as much as possible. I think we're doing church production at its best when we completely disappear into the background and people don't think about how we're doing what we're doing. My only goal is to create an atmosphere that people are comfortable worshiping in, and any inconsistencies in the mixing style and preferences week to week will create distractions. So here's a quick solution for you that I think will really help your team nail down consistency. Whoever is the head of your audio team or has the final say in the way that the mix sounds needs to create their own console template. Now, this doesn't have to be anything revolutionary or crazy. All they're going to do is they're going to take your normal mix as they would mix it on a Sunday, and they're just going to save that as a default scene or show file on the console. For me personally, I like to go through and zero out all my faders where I think would be a generally good starting point for anybody that's coming in and creating their show file for the week. Now, once that show file has been created, every single week, when your audio engineers come in at rehearsal time, they're going to create a brand new show file from that default show file. So you're going to hit open and open the show file that is your default show file and then save as a new file. I think it's smart to just put the date on there, or if you have multiple services, nighttime and evening time, and they're mixed by different people, then you can note which service it belongs to. Now, any changes that they are making to the session are from that same starting point every single week, and it won't be written over on your default show file. This avoids the situation I see happen at a lot of churches, which I like to call creep. This is where you have somebody come in and they'll mix on the console and they'll get it sounding great in the room with the band on the stage. And then over the course of the next few weeks or months or even years maybe, everything starts to kind of fall apart because people haven't been going back to that same show file on a weekly basis. The mix begins to creep further and further and further away from where you started. Now, this takes a lot of discipline because you have to be on top of that show file and make sure that any changes that need to be made to it are made so that the next week that person can go back and recall that show file and the changes haven't completely disappeared from when you put them in the previous week. So you really have to be disciplined with this. But personally, I believe that this is the best solution for creating consistent mixes at your church every single week, no matter what volunteers you have serving. For example, here at Faith at the Somerville campus, I am not here every week. My job requires me to go to other campuses and to help them out with their own audio problems. So here at the Somerville campus, we have a team of about 5 audio engineers that are regularly mixing. Every single week, they are recalling my show file that I saved from the last time I was here. And then every time I mix, I will just write over my default show file. That way, any changes that need to be incorporated, or as my taste changes, or as the band's tastes change, then those changes are incorporated into the default show file over time. So this campus is never more than 3 weeks away from the previous show file that I wrote. Now, practically speaking, there are a number of different ways to create the show file. On an X32, you can just create a new show file, or you can use scenes if you don't use scenes for individual songs. Or for our purposes, we have a Digico, and I have a console template that they use that's more difficult to write over on accident. No matter how you do it, I think that this way is the best way to create consistency. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If this video is helpful, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.